The Weed of the Week is sponsored by the Enlist Weed Control System from Dow AgroSciences, a new herbicide and trait system that will build on glyphosate.
Farming always looks forward. Introducing the Enlist Weed Control System, an advanced herbicide and trait system that will build on glyphosate for exceptional control of tough weeds. The next chapter begins.
Our weed of the week is our old friend, Buffalobur. Brian, you used to love this weed.
Yeah, and I used to love pulling it as long as I pulled it way down at the base.
Brian
and
was my
used
hero.
gloves.
If we were out walking soybeans, and if there got to be a weed that was too big, well, Brian's a few years older than me, I'd say, hey, big brother, come over here and pull this big weed. And he liked to show off his muscles, so he'd come over and pull this big weed out. So when I had a Buffalobur, I'd say, hey, yeah, there's a weed. It's about 5 feet back from me. Come over and pull that thing. And it was Buffalobur almost every time. He got wise to me pretty quick. But even with leather gloves, those little spikes up the stems on Buffalobur can really get you.
Yep, they can. And here's the whole thing. It used to be a difficult to control weed. We didn't have a lot of good options. I remember Blazer was probably the best thing there was. Well, today you can't even find straight Blazer. You can find Ultra Blazer, but that's not real common. Cobra has some activity. But the good news is we have a lot more options today. Roundup certainly is excellent on Buffalobur, especially when you get it when it's relatively small.
Well, when it's an annual weed and Roundup still controls it, we don't have a lot of issues with it. But it is still one you don't want to have out there. You don't want to have it in your pasture. You don't want to have it in your row crop fields either. So start with a good pre. Like in corn, I like Verdict. It's got some burn down activity. I also like anything that has balanced flex in it, that has good burn down and also good residual.
Post-emerge in corn status I think is the best, but Callisto, Loudus, Impact, Armazon, they all have activity on it, especially when you throw just a little atrazine with it. Let's go to the tougher crop, go to soybeans. I've always liked Sencor. It's always had some activity. It's just not going to be perfect.
Yeah, my favorite has been Authority MTZ because then you got two different products with activity on it. And also if you happen to throw in one of the yellows like a Treflan, Sonalan, or Prowl, they are maybe 50% control, but
see, I don't think they're going to give you near that.
When you add that into the other products, you're going to do well.
Right, exactly. When you have that Authority MTZ out there, you pretty much have it under control. Post-emerge, yeah, there's nothing that's real great. Cobra's probably the best, but Roundup is going to be excellent on Buffalobur.
Yeah, I've always thought Pursuit and Raptor have a little bit of activity on it. And you mix in a Flex Star or Cobra with them, and they're not too bad. Just don't let Buffalobur get big, otherwise it gets really difficult.
All right, in wheat, I'd suggest sharpen down, follow post-emerge with Husky, and Buffalobur shouldn't be a problem on your farm.
That's all the time we have for this week's weed, but Iron Talk is coming up next.